Rest in peace, Mr. Norm MacDonald. Raise a glass and let the laughter live on. Through Aaron Weaver and Collin and the People's Pod. People's Pod.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. September 22nd, 2021.
I had to think about that for a moment.
What year is it?
Dude, it still
What day is it?
feels like 2020 somehow, but we're already closer to 2022.
2020 part 2.
Part-
We're in right now.
Like, dude. Yeah, ooh. Gosh, what a terrible sequel.
I don't know why it's popped in my head, but I just thought about our In the Car podcast on the way to Santa Cruz tournament where we were drinking seltzers.
Yes,
And
yes.
Kurt would chime in from the front seat every now and then.
Very legal. Very fun, very legal.
Definitely very legal.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was Bacon was the MVP of that pod, right?
Well, he was the driver.
Yeah. MVP of the pod.
Yeah.
For sure. Gosh. Great times on the
That was
People's
great.
Pod.
That was like almost 2 years ago.
F.
Yeah. Weird. What's happening?
What's happened?
Time's moving in one direction.
Faster than it ever has before.
Very relevant. It's my last week in Santa Barbara. Speaking of time moving faster than it ever had before, I know. It's such a bummer. Also amazing opportunity, and I'm very excited about it. Chelsea, if you're listening, I'm stoked.
Great time. Great time.
But yeah, very bittersweet. Time does fly. So with that, how was your weekend?
Yeah. All right. I'll hop into my weekend. Big Friday night. Ashley calls me up. She's working at Teru, which actually you and Chelsea were going to Teru.
Yes.
You called me up, and I was like, "Oh, Ashley's working tonight. That'll be fun." And I kept the secret from her. I think she was miraculously surprised.
It was pretty funny. So we were there Friday night, and she walked in, and she immediately went to like the menu and like dish stand, and Chelsea and I are sitting side by side against the wall, just like staring at her for what felt like 5 minutes, and she was like 10 feet away from us, had no idea, and then like finally like looked up, like, "Oh guys," and then we basically just like hung out with her for the remainder of our meal, and like I was telling you, she brought us some complimentary sushi with the little of that passion fruit butter that we were talking about on the last pod. So it's being sold in the market, people. It's out there. It's
out
good.
there. Yeah, it's good. It's brought to you. It's locally made, locally grown from the U. That was a piece of the U, a goodbye piece of the U.
Oh man,
how fun.
Speaking of locally made, was downtown yesterday, farmers market. You should get a stand. Well, I was there because I went to Men's Warehouse to buy a suit, of which I could not because they were understaffed at that time. But speaking of locally made product, you guys should get yourself a stand.
Damn. That's
Farmer Weaver.
Not a bad idea. We could partner with the passion fruit stand and come up with a better product. Passion fruits are shockingly expensive.
Or you could just corner their market and put them into the ground.
I love that. Yeah. I'm not competitive. Hey, fuck you.
These people came out of nowhere, and now we have to mortgage our house.
All of a sudden, I've got like 3 shade tents worth of butter jars. I've cornered the mason jar market as well.
You're right.
Actually, this is super funny. Finding mason jars right now is incredibly difficult.
Really?
I went to 2 Smart & Finals, 1 Albertsons, and Target. Could not find any mason jars.
Wow.
So if you are in the market for mason jars, the secret is Osh. Randomly. I don't know why. Can't explain it. But yeah, that was wild. One of the employees at one of the Smart & Finals that I went to went on this really long rant.
What'd you learn? Yeah.
Supply chains, shortages. He also talked about, all the DIY crafting that's happening right now.
For sure.
And he's just like, fucking hippies.
The crooked left, the dirty left, taking all of our mason jars.
Those damn mason.
Those libs.
All those libs just drinking out of them instead of filling them with jam. My God. Anyways, back to Friday night. So Ashley's working. She hits me up to bring home food. So I stop at Habit on Hollister, pick her up a meal as I'm on my way home, like a dutiful partner, right? And I'm waiting at a red light to make a left turn onto the freeway. And I'm behind a minivan. The light turns green. I start like inching forward. The car in front of the minivan goes. I inch forward. The minivan doesn't go anywhere. So I like stop and then boom, just like rear-ended, less than 5 miles per hour, but still rear-ended.
Shocking.
Just like super annoying and like annoyingly violent. Like luckily I was in like a very straight position. I wasn't like reaching over, like messing with the radio or anything. I wasn't like twisted. But it like launched me towards my steering wheel, which was annoying. Right? And so like I'm just like, fuck. Like, sorry, honey, you're not having dinner before.
Did you pull over and like exchange information?
Did
and
the
do all
whole
that?
pullover thing, yeah. But the issue that I had, and like it was a terrible feeling, is this is a janky car, right? Like the hood is mismatched color, yeah. It's like a beater, right? And then this guy gets out, and it's like you have these internal thoughts that you think are racist, and I'm trying to like not just go on YouTube, but like instantly my first thought is like I don't know if this guy has insurance at all, like why, and like all of a sudden I'm going through the thought process of like, do I report this because I don't want my insurance rate to get fucked, and like all that nonsensical but like somewhat sensical thought process. And I'm also like potentially concussed, and like I'm also trying to be a nice guy because like this guy just hit me, and now he's shook. He's shook, yeah. So luckily, because it was so like minor, like you couldn't even tell on my car that I got hit.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, so I basically just like got a picture of his ID, got his phone number, and I was like, look, I'm not concerned about my car, but like I feel really weird right now, so like I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. If anything, like if I'm concussed, I'm gonna reach out to you to help like pay for whatever costs are incurred. But luckily, everything was fine. Like my whole equilibrium for the rest of Friday night was fucked. I had to I had to medicate. I drank a margarita, and then I started getting nauseous.
You're like, I gotta medicate. Or just like mixing a margarita for yourself.
Something has to change right now. That didn't work, so I went to the inhalant method instead. Very legal.
Urbanically.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't eat dinner. Like I was like, that's how weird I felt. Which also might have been because Habit was cold by the time I got to, home.
Oh yeah.
So like that was nasty.
Unappetizing.
Yeah. So that was lame. So and I ended up watching terrible, awesome movie. I keep forgetting the name of it. I threw it in GroupMe, and it's about a bunch of guys who meet up for an annual just like shit show party. And there's so many like sentimental moments. Like, that's fucking Stu right there.
You're all shook and high and just like crying to yourself, like hanging out by yourself.
I know that this movie's awful and the characters in the story are terrible, but also like there's a lot of us in these characters. It's just like, damn it. And it was super fun for me at the time. So that was my Friday. Yeah. Saturday, even more fun. Woke up feeling great. Coached the Ninos. Got incredibly sunburnt.
That'll happen.
Yeah. There was cloud cover in the morning, and then I went from coaching the kids to playing goal tee with the Saturday Beach crew. Stayed way longer than I meant to. And then went to go buy my barbecue. Finally.
Oh, yeah.
Like over a month and a half into the new house, it was time. And unfortunately, this last weekend was move-in weekend for UCSB. which is insane.
We went to Home Depot.
We went to Home
and
Depot.
the parking lot was just
Yeah,
fucked.
so we had obviously we're gonna do several chores. So we bought a fitted sheet at Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond is nuts, right? Then we're gonna hop over to Costco for paper towels and samples and chicken, stuff to grill, right?
Right, yeah.
But
we must grill something.
Costco parking lot was completely full and overflowing into the street, and it took me moments to figure out that it was move-in weekend. And then Ashley's like, "What is happening? This is crazy. I've never seen it this full before." I was like, "Honey, did you notice all the parents buying sheets for their children?
You notice all the exasperated kids just wanted their parents to leave."
Yeah, dude. And so that was a funny relationship moment because we're just getting testy at each other. We're in a mall where like Christmas shopping with your partner, nightmare, right?
I was talking last week on the pod, shopping for the house pre Sunday morning football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing as come on.
Let's go.
For everyone, I'm motioning with my hand. They're like, "Let's go," motion.
Yeah.
We've been in this aisle for 5 minutes and we haven't grabbed anything. What are we doing here?
Dude, yeah, I feel that. Oh my God. You just made me flash back to a time. We're leaving to go camping. We're buying our groceries. And Ashley walks up to the hummus section at Trader Joe's, which is extensive. And I'm just hankering to get on the road, this is the last item, and now we just have this colossal decision if we want fucking spicy, tomato versus, green bean hummus. I'm not a hummus expert, but
God, and then I could just see which one do you want? I don't care, just pick one. Oh, you don't care? Fuck!
I didn't mean it.
Yeah, I actually really do care.
I want the tomatoes.
Yeah.
You know I don't like tomatoes. No!
God, just fucking kill me.
Honey, it's super fun. But so it got to the point where we had the barbecue, we bought a couple plants from Home Depot, and we're ready to go home, but we both know that there's nothing to cook at home because we were supposed to go grocery shopping at the same time. And I'm just so flustered. I'm just I don't want to go to another store right now. I want to just go home. I'll go shopping by myself. You can take a nap. That's what I want. And she's like, "But there's a store right there that it's on the way, And it's just I know you're being logical.
Zoo?
I know you're being logical, but I just want to go home, And so we got on the freeway and 2 exits in before we had passed it. I was like, "Honey, you're right. Let's go get some. Let's go get some steaks."
I see a transformation of this podcast, little by little, week by week. For week 20, this is gonna be a relationship podcast with 10 minutes of fantasy football at the end.
Oh man, yeah. Flavor of love with Weaver and Gall. Yeah. This is podcasting with Gall Weave. We're both shirtless in the kitchen on Zoom. Yeah, so that was a very long-winded update on my weekend. Whew. Hope you guys liked it. How about you, Collin?
Yeah, so I was playing Frisbee. I was in Norco, California, East LA County. I'm home of country music and Trumpers.
Trumpers as in Trump supporters?
Trump supporters.
Ah.
Yeah, they're literally. So we were at the giant Silver Lake soccer complex that many of you may or may not know from previous tournaments of past years. But they host everything there. We show up and we're there for SoCal sectionals. There's also youth soccer going on. There's also high school cross country meet going on.
Wow.
So Sunday we had 3 games. We needed to finish top 6, and by we mean Sundowners, to qualify for regionals. If we were to win our first 2 games, it was auto to semis, and we would have qualified. Right, that was the goal. So we took care of business in the first 2 games. They were not close. We played a team from Arizona. We beat by 4 goals, and then we played the UCLA college pseudo A team and won by 4 goals. So 2 games in the books, we're in.
Nice.
Sounds good. Last game was Saturday. We're playing Condors, and I had made a bet with Sam Fontaine that Sundowners would score 7 points on Condors in a game to 13. So I think we got broken our first offensive point, and then they scored, but then we were trading after that. We traded to 4-5. So Sundowners 4, Condors 5, and I'm like, this is looking good for me.
Yeah.
Still first half. If we can squeak one more out this half, that's great. Otherwise, we just need to score less next half than this half by a small margin, and I'm golden. We don't score again the entire game.
Ooh.
So we lose 13-4 against Condors. I lose the bet, but it's kind of like
What were the terms of the bet?
loser had to buy a beer.
Ah, that's fun.
Yeah, not that bad.
Do you think that Sam is a better halftime speaker than you are?
Ooh.
Is that the difference here?
Well,
The only difference.
no, that would not be the difference because I am not in a position of leadership on Sundowners. I literally have gone to 2 practices out of I don't even know how many they've had in the last 2+ months, and then showed up and played on the tournament. I'm not going to go to another practice and then show up and play at regionals. My commitment is very low. But that's kind of the theme for Sundowners. But anyway, went 2-1 on Saturday. Sunday, we have semis against Street Gang as our first game. Game of runs. We take half, 8-7 after being down by a few. Then we get broken a few times, and Street Gang starts to run away with it. Then we claw back all the way to 13-13 defense. And multiple turnovers on both sides of the disc.
Wow.
I actually have an opportunity to end the game. They turn it, and it's just me and Kyle Johnson basically in the dump set, and Kyle is streaking deep. So I pick up the disc and I throw absolute dog shit IO backhand. Whereas if I would have thrown an easy away OI backhand, just we've all thrown this throw hundreds of times, right? He catches it and we win. But instead, I put some air underneath it for whatever reason, and it falls to the ground. And then a few throws later, I get beat deep to end the game. And I actually lay out and tip the disc, and it's still caught.
Oh.
And so that was semis. We claw our way back to universe, and then we lose. Then we play for third against the LA team. We end up winning 12-10. Overall, fun weekend, and the team handily qualifies for regionals, which was the goal. It's a weird headspace for me to be in because my commitment has been so low, but my competitiveness is so high. And so circling back to halftime speeches and whatnot, I definitely am speaking my mind in situations where maybe I should or should not be. I mean, no one told me not to, but no, I don't think that was the difference in the Condors game.
It's the only difference. That's the only reason why.
The most disappointing part of the weekend, aside from me being the reason we lost on Universe Street Gang, was this place also has a giant bar and grill clubhouse, this complex. And in 2019 when we were there, they had football on 6 TVs, 6 different games. And so in my mind, I'm this is great because I can watch some football afterwards, especially because the SB crew, Laddie and Will and Sticks and Sam, they were all going to stay well beyond our finish because the girls had a round robin.
Right.
Which Caitlin played in, and the poor Land Sharks got absolutely demolished in both their games. SP Land Sharks is their name, by the way, which is great.
It's awesome.
But anyway, I go to the clubhouse thinking I'm gonna watch some football, and they don't have the NFL package anymore. They have one local channel which is showing the Chargers and Cowboys, which was fine because I had CeeDee Lamb in the game, but it's really weird from expecting to watch a bunch of games at once, and there's only one game on, and there's fucking so many commercials during the NFL games.
Oh, yeah.
I eventually gave up on it. I was this is just
Lame.
yeah, this is not where it's
lame.
at. That was my weekend.
Wow.
And then Monday night, Aaron Jones scores 4 touchdowns on me, and I lose.
Woof, yeah. We both took Monday Night Football losses. Damn it.
Damn it. Moving on. So that was a weekend update. Hope you guys enjoyed that one.
You're welcome, fam.
Yeah. Segment update. So last week we revisited all of our first round picks and their performances after week 1. Well, I thought it'd be fun to continue to keep track of those performances. And just highlight a few things. So one, Derrick Henry was the Henry who we thought he would be.
Booyaka, booyaka. That's my guy.
With his enormous performance this past week, which is funny because we talked about his subpar performance after week 1.
Oh, shook.
Henry is now leading the points per week average with 27.45. followed by McCaffrey at 22.7. Kelsey selected 12th overall with 22 points.
Dude, that's so insane.
And then actually now Aaron Jones, after scoring 4 touchdowns on Monday night, is up to 20.85. After that, there's 3 guys that are scoring above 16, which are Chubb, Hill, and Cook. One person is scoring less than 10 points a game. This person actually scoring less than 6 points a game, and that is our boy Saquats, who was drafted 4th overall.
You hate to see it.
So that's a first round update. Maybe we'll do this every week, maybe every other week, but Henry so far is leading the way.
They call him the king for a reason. Because he is
What's that reason? Yeah.
leading the league in points per week for running backs and first round picks. Love it. I love it. Oh, let's get into the atonements. This is what the fam is truly listening for.
This is a healthy segment now after last week. We're like, you guys didn't give us enough atonements.
It turns out that we are wrong quite often with our hot takes. Maybe we should have lukewarm takes from here on out. Yeah. Like, oh, Mahomes, best quarterback in the league.
Lukewarm takes.
That's what people are listening for.
Yes, that's exactly right. They just want the even keel takes with no emphasis
No drama,
on anything.
yeah.
That's what brings the listeners.
No, Max's receivers and Josh Allen can score 90 points.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put up, I think it was like 33.
Whatever it was, he did not win. I know that.
I know, it was tough. I think my bet was for more points than he scored.
Good thing you didn't take that bet.
I actually, I'm going to double down. Like season long, I bet it happens.
At one point this season, those
it's in the
3
realm
guys are going to score 90 points in a week.
with the 3 of them. Yeah, I believe. All right, what's the first one?
Yeah, first atonement, Pebbles again. Cousins is really working out for you after not drafting a quarterback. Cousins actually did much better after week 2, 26.26 points, 3 touchdowns, 244 yards. So Pebbles non-drafting a quarterback is still working out with him. I would love to revisit this draft weekend next year and see if this strategy is emulated by others.
Honestly,
I guess we'll see what happens.
It's so fun. But just wait till Cousins catches COVID.
Yeah, right?
Maybe he's performing so well because everybody else is vaccinated and their performance is lower, right?
Or they just won't go near him because they're like, this guy can't risk it.
I just love. I guarantee you, somebody has made that claim. Like, yeah, I'm doing so well because I'm not vaccinated. Like, you have that like toxin in your body.
Your testicles are enlarged.
Oh man, that whole bit. Holy Toledo.
That's like a 10-minute rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We're not going to go down. Also, Pebbles, congratulations on starting the correct tight end, even though you were bitching about Mark Andrews. He scored 3 more points than Hunter Henry did this week.
Yeah. 8 points from your tight end. I wish that I could sniff that son of a bitch.
Next atonement. This is actually more of a bet update. Robbie Anderson versus Antonio Brown. So Antonio Brown currently is leading in the Brown versus Anderson match, as Brown is he has scored 24.4 points over the season. Anderson only has an 18.5. However, Antonio Brown now has COVID. Speaking of COVID, and I actually went back and listened to the exact verbiage that we put in this bet, and what you said was any injury nullifies the bet. And I would not characterize COVID as an injury because I made this bet because Antonio Brown is a dumbass. Oh. And I didn't think that he would play a full 16 games.
Oh, man.
So I think that the bet is still on.
Sure.
For however many games he misses for COVID.
That's fine.
It's also possible that Robbie Anderson gets COVID. I don't know what his vaccination status is.
Yeah.
Also, the Buccaneers are supposed to be 100% vaccinated.
Yeah. Yeah. You can still get
So who's
COVID.
lying? Yeah, of course, yes.
Vaccinated. Which, I'm just hoping he comes back. I really need him back. Please, AB, come back, buddy.
Reaching.
Oh, man. All right. So this next one is very near and dear to my heart. Elijah Mitchell and
Mine
his
too.
14.8 points. Yeah. Oh God. You want to talk about this quote that you have listed? Just real.
Yeah, so today I did a bunch of non-work during my workday, did some research, and listened to the podcast, and Weaver said that I was getting fucked by the Niners' depth at running back in reference to Gallman getting cut and the Falcons picking him up concerning Mike Davis and his usage. Well, Gallman hasn't really played very much, iffy at all. And now the Niners, every single running back is injured. So now who's getting fucked?
Dude, it's so brutal. I can't believe the luck. Not only that the Niners are having, but my fantasy team.
Who knew spending $69 would be a bad idea?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in it. I needed a game changer. And he would have broken this threshold had he not had a touchdown called back. You hate to see it.
Would he have been over that with the touchdown?
It would have been close. He might have been like 1 point something points.
Okay, so you never know. Okay. He also
And he got hurt.
He could fumble multiple times.
He also got hurt. My God. Anyways,
That's a bummer.
it is a bummer.
But you're lucky we didn't make that bet.
Yeah, it's true. I'm still pulling for you. Come on, Elijah. My guy. Brad, double tight end start. I was, hyping him up pre Sunday games. Double tight end has worked before, and it worked again in a big way. Brad has a lot of collateral there with 2 tight ends.
Yeah, Hockencock killing it. And Gronk, goddamn. Remember Gronk was like Brad's like throw in, I gotta leave the draft, just draft any number of these guys with my next picks. And I saw Gronk and I was like, okay, whatever, this is fine to give Brad that. And now he's 0.1 points away from being the number 1 scoring tight end in the season.
Dude.
What a steal. I mean, this was mentioned in the group meet, but like a lot of shit talking on Brad's team, and he's putting up the points. 1-on-1 though, but still putting up the points.
Putting up the points, and just makes me feel so full of regret, Classic.
A lot of regret. Also, atoning for saying the Giants were the Lions on Thursday Night Football. So the Giants did get fucked by Aaron Jones, as I did surmise in my matchup. But that actually happened on Monday night, and the football team beat the Giants, who kind of beat themselves. They weren't the Lions, so that's an atonement.
Atonement.
Oh, yes. Okay. So a few more. One, Stu, you called us out for not being able to remember our drunkest moment. After that, I thought on it a little bit, and I have had similar situations as we described. Max having in the car on the way home where you lose your matchup on Sunday or Monday night, and I lose my matchup on Sunday or Monday night, and I just get irate and unapproachable and close up and, short with people. So I know that's happened, which I'm not proud of.
We've all been there. My drunkest actually happened. The only reason that I am sharing this is because it's like fresh on the mind.
The only reason.
And it's one of the few that I can remember. Stu, you never shared any drunken Weaver memories, but week 1 this year actually. Yes, I'll take another BrewDog. I was going hard in the paint. I had like 2 very heavy Bloody Marys to start the day off, and I was drinking hard. I was like posted up. I knew that Peebly was freshly out of surgery, so he'd be watching. So I was like ready to like chat with the boys, and Ashley had friends over. They were making passion fruit butter, and I was hanging out with the husband, Brett, and he was down to drink. He's a Niners fan. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
We're like watching over their toddler, just laughing at him, like being a little terror, pulling books out of the bookshelf, like trying to rip pages, like
That is a terror.
Terror, yeah. But we're like going hard, right? So I'm probably like 7 or 8 drinks deep by the afternoon.
Oh,
days,
yeah.
And so then like by the time before the night game, me and Ashley go on a walk, and I was just like so self-conscious about being hammered, and she's completely sober, and I was just like, honey, I'm so sorry, and just like went on that little like
Don't hate me.
weird. Yeah, don't hate me for being hammered. Like I was there like
The shame.
It's just like it was my first football Sunday away from the U where I'd be with the boys where drinking like a degenerate is like acceptable, and I was like all alone, and so then I was feeling like an alcoholic too. So that's my depressing story
Embarrassing.
for this. Yeah, embarrassing. Yeah, and Ashley's like, what? Like, you had so much fun. What are you
Oh, you're like, thank God.
doing weird? And I was
I
just,
really want another beer right now.
because I gotta keep this train going, honey. I don't want to go to sleep hungover. Which is awesome. Oh man, Doug Judy, Pontiac Bandit. This is bullshit.
Is it bullshit?
You guys all need to watch.
Is it bullshit?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The fact that you claim to have watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine and not know who he is, that's just astounding. It's crazy.
I will take that. I definitely no expert, and every single Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode I've seen, I've enjoyed. Mm-hmm. My only claim was that less than half of the league would know who that person was.
Did you vote in the poll?
No, I didn't vote.
Okay.
We made the.
Well, I can't check. If you don't vote, you don't know who votes. So I did. I was going blind.
If I'm anything, I'm a man of my word.
Yeah, all right. I respect it. Guess I got to get a new team name.
IR Judy.
I know. Doug Judy, the IR Bandit. That's so good, Adam. Adam, you're so clever. I love you.
This is, again, not much of an atonement, but I wasn't really sure what other section to put this in. I also didn't really try to think that hard as what other section to put this in. But every team that I prayed for, which were all the teams that scored fewer points than I did last week without really having a quarterback, they all won their matchups this week.
Wow, that's so fun.
So there'll only be one team I'll be praying for this week.
That's Doug Judy, right?
And that's
I really
the
need
IR
this win.
Bandit. Oh my God.
We got to
stole
take
my
down
quote.
the Blood Diamond Bell. Pray for me.
Like, one of us is 0-2. I think this is a person who really needs that win.
Oh,
We'll get to picks later.
Damn it. Everybody needs a win. Okay. Oh, yeah, I need your help right here. You got
Yeah, so okay, we'll do our how many shots are you going to do? You want to do one? Are we going to be an adult, or are you going to do the shot bet plus the atonement shot?
Oh, shit.
And to lay the scene here, fam, so the atonement section, as it was originally laid out, was basically we're going to take a shot to atone for all of our mistakes. Last week, Weaver and I bet on his and Adam's matchup, where I took Adam and he took himself, and Adam won. So, I'm no mathematician, but that's one shot for our atonement section, one shot for this bet, which would be 2 shots. But as there is work in the morning and we're adults, I will let him have the agency to choose how many shots he wants to take right now.
My God.
Of Maker's Mark. So, not like a bad shot.
Let's start with one for now, obviously, and I'll probably take a second in the end there.
That's fair. Okay.
It's tough to have 8 a.m. meetings the day after podcasting, but this plot thickens because me and Adam also had a bet.
Oh my. Is that also a shot bet?
Fucking
My God.
my God. I have to atone on the podcast with a shot for wanting to play my team because I've been talking all this
Wait,
junk.
so this is yes.
Yeah.
So this is a third shot.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
I
God.
know I shouldn't have pre-gamed that margarita.
You know what's pretty funny? Last week we talked about shot bets. We're like, shot bets are easy. Yeah, we'll do a shot
I know.
bet. They multiply.
Oh my God.
Well, we'll do one for now, and I'll keep
So
reminding you
this
after every
is just
segment.
the general atonement.
Atonement shot. Thank you, gentlemen, for keeping us honest.
That's tough. All right.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Woo!
I'm gonna have to switch to some ice cold tequila. Oh shit. Alright. That's no fun. Ugh, listener questions. This is from Adam, who
This
I
is fun.
love to death. Yeah. Adam from the mailbag asks, fuck, I'm not gonna look it up, literally, just from our notes. He asked us to set up any trades for the league. Like, we're kind of a weird league where we like sometimes trade. Like last year, Stu pulled off some blockbusters, which was super annoying. Totally gave him the championship. All of you that traded with him should be terribly ashamed, and you owe us all atonement.
David Johnson.
Ugh.
And actually Melvin Gordon was a big one. Was that this year or last year?
Bill traded him Diggs. Best receiver in
No.
the
Diggs
league.
went to Scott.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, that's, atonement.
That's an atonement shot.
I'll do it right
Now we're up to
now.
4
Atonement
shots.
left and right, yeah.
Anyway, back to Adam's question. Basically, it was come up with 1 or 2 fake trades for the league. And Weaver and I have not documented or shared our trades with each other to keep them fun and separate.
The writer's notes literally say, I'm going to keep mine secret to not influence you. That's fun.
All right, I'll go first.
Behind the scenes action for the listeners.
That's right. Okay, so first trade for me.
He turned his screen
I gotta
over.
move my computer away so he can't look at my second trade. So my first note for this section, I put teams are either very middling or strong. Parentheses, Brad surprise. Adam's teams, arrow is pointing up. This is my quick blush reaction for all the teams I had to go through with looking for trades, right? But the trade that I did come up with would be between Bacon and Stu. Bacon is loaded at running back, but may need some wide receiver help to replace Chark. And let's see, what else is Bacon working with? Just so I think Bacon's a little weak on receiver. He's got A.J. Brown, Adam Thielen, Shark, and then Sammy Watkins and MVS. So those are Bacon's 5 receivers, 2 of which are bench players in Watkins and MVS. Shark last week put up less than 3 points, 1 reception for 19 yards. Thielen so far is playing second or third fiddle to Osborne the rookie and Jefferson.
Bro, Thielen is a top 3 receiver. You shut your mouth. Don't slander him.
This is my time, not your time, okay?
Just saying, I heard some slander and I got squash it.
Also, A.J. Brown had a down week, although I'm sure he's going to be fine because he's A.J. Brown. But I think Bacon needs a receiver, right? So
I agree with you, actually.
That's don't say actually, I got good thoughts. So
Your thoughts are valid.
That's part 1 of this. Part 2, Stu, and this was self-proclaimed, but I actually agree, he could use a running back, RB2 or 3, right? So going to Stu's team, Jamar Laxton, what Stu's working with right now is Gibson, who has got some talent, but is that a hog joke you're laughing at? This is what you're working with, Stu.
With Stu. Stu's always trying to see check out what we're working with.
That's just how in sync we are. Okay, anyway, so Gibson, while very talented, is losing work to McKissick, as we saw on Thursday Night Football. Dog, also good and averaging around 15.5 points per game, but is a little banged up. And after that, he has his investment in Mark Ingram, which didn't pay off. He's got Sermon, who is injured and didn't even play week 1. Then he's got a bunch of other backups, right? So Stu is kind of weak at running back. So the trade that I would put together, and these are kind of interchangeable right now, and this isn't really a blockbuster, I will say, right? This is more of like a roll piece for a roll piece. But I would propose that Bacon would trade either Gaskin or McKissick to Stu for a Rondell Moore or a Michael Pittman Jr.
I love this trade.
I feel like Moore and Pittman might have more value than the other 2 running backs. However, no one fucked like Gascon last year, and I think it's only a matter of time before Miami rights itself. I know Tua is injured right now, but he's going to have better days ahead of him. And we just talked about Gibson McKissick bleeding into Gibson's time, and so, he scored 17 points on Thursday night. So to wrap this up, it would be Gaskin or McKissick for Pittman or Rondell Moore. That would be my first fake trade between Bacon and Stu.
That's awesome. I actually also initially was using Bacon for my trades, but I thought it was too obvious, and so I went deeper. I went deeper
You're
into.
just giving me a backhand compliment for my fake trade.
Yep. Which, by the way, I think is very reasonable, very fair, and I think would benefit both teams. So you guys can't do it because we said it. So,
That's right. It's yeah.
just like I can't change my team name to Doug Judy IR Bandit.
Or like Harmon Killebrew when you say Natalie Portman. Oh, can't use her anymore.
Yeah.
She's out. It's out in the ether.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I targeted Scott Novum. He has Kyler Murray, which is a very sore subject for me. He also drafted Jalen Hurts, which is also a sore subject for me.
What isn't a sore subject for you?
I'm just very sore. There's a lot of chafing going on in my fantasy world.
Chafing?
And I noticed that Team Jiggy Jiggy has Matt Stafford as his quarterback. And one of those players is scoring more points than the other. It's Hurts. On Scott's bench. There's no way that Scott's going to play Jalen Hurts over Kyler Murray, the best quarterback in the league currently, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Team Jiggy Jiggy has 2 top 3 tight ends. I think that this is a big trade.
But this would be a blockbuster.
This would be a blockbuster because Jalen Hurts, actually, I'll do some hashtag
Podcast
math real quick.
Podcast.
I'm going to look up real quick to see where Jalen Hurts currently is listed on the season. Jalen Hurts, he's number 6. That's insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Number 6 quarterback for a top 3 tight end.
Wow, that is insane. He's 6 and just rotting on the bench.
Riding on the bench, yeah. So that is my first fake trade. And I think both teams get better for it. Whether or not they would want to do that, I don't know.
If you were Brad, who do you play in your flex then?
Right. That is the downside of this trade for Brad, is he would need to fill in the flex spot. But you would think that a positional player has a higher ceiling than tight end. As of last week, that is not the case, right? Like, they're blowing up. Just like Kelsey being a top 3 first-round pick currently based on value alone, right? Like, nobody would take Kelsey number 3 overall. But that's just the decision that you have to make, right? Like, do you take a flyer? You make your quarterback better, or do you settle with like an above average / middling quarterback and roll with the double tight ends? I don't know. I think both teams get better this way. And this way, Brad also has fun on the waiver wire too. Like, he can get aggressive with Rondell Moore. He did just pick up.
He actually has been pretty aggressive, I think, these past 2 weeks on the wire.
He picked up Cordero Patterson. So there's your flex. Boom. Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Next trade.
Okay, so I got a few other non-blockbusters. Both O'Malley and Scott are also thin in the wide receiver core. O'Malley might get a boon, or will get a boon, when OBJ is back in action, now that Landry is questionable. But O'Malley's still trotting out Galladay, who we've been talking relentless shit on. Chase Claypool hasn't eclipsed 9 points yet this year, and Tyler Boyd is in that 3-headed monster where he's right now just the 3rd option for Burrow. So I think O'Malley could use a wide receiver, and Scott also could. So I was either going to say that you just swap out Bacon in the original trade, so you have Stu dealing with either O'Malley or Scott, or one of them could look at a more piously team named, who is very strong in wide receiver. Someone who might have a certain Ravens wide receiver who he should have played this past weekend, but did not because of the Q tag. And so in a more bigger trade, I would insert myself and throw in maybe not a Marquise Brown, but there's Rager and, well, actually, I'm not going to expose my dirty laundry out there, but we'll just say Marquise Brown for a James Robinson, now that he also hasn't been doing very well. could solve some issues on both of our rosters. Speaking of Cordell Patterson and how Mike Davis is losing work to him and not Wayne Gallman.
Yeah, that's wild to me. Who knew that like an 8-year veteran converted receiver to running back could steal running back work?
I don't know. I mean, like, the game script has definitely been in his favor because the Falcons are going to be behind in all their games. So we'll see what happens. I think things are still being felt out. I'm not, like, hitting the panic button yet. I would to have liked to pick up Patterson on the waiver wire, but I wasn't about to invest as much as Brad did.
I almost spent the remainder of my fab.
Oh my God.
I almost did, yeah.
He's so old, just like you said.
I know. And so my fab bid, this is kind of, I don't know, silly. Both of my bets have been very meme-esque, right? Like 69 for Elijah Mitchell. I was at 42, 420. That was my first bid. Then I went to 69. Very stupid. But this bid on Cordell Patterson, $17, was to match the Mark Ingram bid. And I wanted to then set up a bet with Stu with him having last week's performance, like, as the I was gonna give him that
The 4.5 points.
4.5 points, yeah, because I think that Cordell Patterson is a huge threat to Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting that you brought up your own team. I have one for my own team that I didn't really want to like air, but you open the floodgates. So a fake bet for me, which would be a blockbuster, is Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf, the stack that I passed up on Kyler Murray for Patrick Mahomes and James Robinson for O'Malley's team. Be a blockbuster because I'm hurting at running back and I'm doing relatively well at receiver. Sans AB COVID. So I think that would be a fun trade and it changes the game a little bit. But it also doesn't work that well for him. I don't know. Because
and you get Mahomes, that's sweet for you.
I get Mahomes. Yeah. Anyways, another bet that another trade. Sorry, these shots are getting to me quick.
It's been one shot.
You're discounting all the pre-drinking that I have
excuse
done.
me.
Yes. Which
How
is
could I?
a terrible decision on my part. I think that Brad could reach out to Max. Max has a plethora of running backs as well. And so I think that Brad could sell one of his tight ends for a running back on that team. Michael Carter trending up. Sony Michel has a lot of value with Hinder Dog and his rib injury.
Right.
Gainwell, popular rookie, spelling Miles Sanders. And then, Max still has Michael Thomas just looming large, which is so insane. Like, that is trade bait 101 right there.
Kind of medium on Michael Thomas.
I don't blame you, but it's trade bait regardless, right? Like, some people have to be hot on him because who else is catching balls from the Saints receivers? Nobody.
No one. Yeah.
Like, Marquez Callaway got dropped.
Yes, he did.
Who else is there to catch balls there? It's Alvin Kamara. That's it.
Dude, Yahoo keeps trying to get me to pick up that Harris guy.
We need to add a section about
I'm like,
these
shut the fuck
shitty
up,
Yahoo additions. I hate them.
Also, there's suggestions. Hey, you should start this player who's going to score 0.23 more in our projections than the player you're starting. Oh, that's so shocking that you think the people who you project to do best, you would then suggest to play in the lineup.
Go fuck yourself,
Yeah, go
Yahoo.
fuck yourself.
We hate you. We should pivot to sleeper.
I'll have you know, Yahoo also told me to play Robbie Henderson over Marquise Brown.
Yeah, where's Yahoo's atonement? Fuck Yahoo. I hate that. You can have these trade suggestions if you buy our Fantasy Plus package. I don't like a package. It's not that impressive.
I don't want to see what you're working with.
Yeah, nobody wants to see what you're working with, Yahoo. It's not as good as Fantasy Pros, and everybody knows it. Moving into the second listener question.
Yeah.
We are on a tortoise pace.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We're going to breeze.
The listeners love it. Yeah, it's true. This is from Blood Diamond Bill, and it's very fitting, this question, for Blood Diamond Bill. If our league was on Survivor, who would be the first person voted out? And it was very interesting. You responded to Bill saying that you thought you and I would have the same choice, aka we would be in an early alliance. Which is very powerful.
So I think we should actually answer all three of his questions. Or actually, this is how I want to do it. So we both should answer this one. Then we should answer final three.
Oh yeah.
And then I would like you to split us into tribes.
Oh God. You can't use ethnicity. And that's relevant because I just finished watching season 13.
Yes, season 13.
Season 13 is Cook Islands, and they did a season of Caucasian versus African American versus Asian American versus Hispanic, which is just like, ridiculous. They got rid of that theme on the third episode, but that is an actual Survivor thing, Classic case of the 2000s. Am I right?
Am I right?
Anyways.
Yeah, so I think, and I didn't think very long or hard about this, but I think Stu would be the first person voted out.
Yeah.
And I think so because I think he would try too hard to be on like everyone's team. I think he would like go above and beyond to like show his value, but like not get in people's way, but like whispering in people's ear here and there. And then like as soon as like 2 or 3 other people start talking about who's been talking to them, his like jig would be up.
Interesting, yeah. So my initial reaction was Stu. And then I started thinking about it a little bit. And this guy has watched a lot of Survivor recently. Him and Amber are in it, right? They are fans at this point. And so he's also a gamer, right? One of my biggest triggered moments of all time is playing board games with him where he betrayed the fam. And so I think he'd be too clever. He's also a very clever guy.
He's smart. He's very smart and clever.
Do I think he's an outdoorsman? Not at all. Do I think that he would be a great laborer? Certainly. I think if somebody's bossing him around, I think he'd be in it. So I don't think that we would vote Stu off, regardless of his complaining and probably, being hungry. We'd all be very hangry on this. Probably me the most, if we're really being honest with ourselves.
O'Malley would be the most hangry?
So actually, O'Malley I do think would be the most hangry, and I don't think O'Malley has watched any Survivor, so I think he would be aloof to the strategies of Survivor. And so I think O'Malley would take the L. He'd be the first vote out, which is so fun. This was a very fun question. It's so topical. Tonight is a new episode of a new season, and I'm missing it to record with you. Also because Ashley's working, so I can't watch it without her.
Also, if I wasn't here, you wouldn't be watching anyway.
Yeah, same. Playing video games probably.
So who's your final 3 then?
My final 3, that's so brutal. I think Bill would probably make it to the final 3. I think Adam would get there. And I guess you.
Hey.
Yeah. Bill, Adam, you. And that's it. That's all the context I'm giving. Bill's an outdoorsman. Adam has some experience, and I think he can be very socially aware at times. And I think you're the most socially aware of our group, and maybe the least hangry-esque. That would be my downfall for sure.
Is this getting the Weaver angry? The Weaver freak out?
I've moved. It's been like 4 or 5 years removed from a Weaver freakout, but I think that there would be a triumphant return on national TV.
You just like destroy all the food stores or something.
Oh my God,
You pull
yeah.
up Pebbles. If I can't eat it, nobody can eat it.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's actually happened on Survivor. It's crazy. It's such a great
That's a
show.
big move.
Yeah.
My final three, I also would have Bill in there. I would put Bacon in there as well. Bill and Bacon are just like we talked about it last time, but they're just like good at everything. I think like Bacon would make it. And after that, I kind of struggle with this pick, but I also think Scott would make it.
Yeah.
I think Scott has a lot of MacGyver and like survival instinct. His one slight downfall would be that he might like keep to himself too much and therefore arouse some suspicion. But
It'd be like Ozzy in season 13 of Survivor. You gotta watch it to understand that reference.
do you want to put us in the tribes or should we just move on? Would that be too much of a...
Oh, that'd be fun. I guess it probably would be like NorCal versus SoCal.
Oh.
Yeah, there'd have to be a line drawn somewhere in California. The line might be in like northern Los Angeles, but yeah, that's fun. That was a really good question, Blood Diamond Bill, and I hope that you're watching Survivor these days. Flashing over next segment to the free agent bid segment.
Yeah.
Our Mark Ingram update. I don't know why we chose him specifically, just for some stooge.
I just put him there because it was a significant expenditure, $17.
Overpaid, yeah.
So if you spend $17 and then the production is 4.5 points on your bench, I don't know if that's like the...
He didn't even start him?
Let me double check that before. He's currently on his bench. Let me
Yeah.
see if he started him
God,
before
that'd
we
be-
misquote.
that'd be
Yeah, we
great.
don't want to belittle him.
$17.
Yep, he was on the bench.
Brutal usage.
Rightfully so. I mean, his flex and both of his running backs outscored Ingram, which we probably could have guessed before the week happened.
Surmised.
Yep, but it's a great word. But yeah, $17 to score 4.5 points on the bench. And then obviously we want to talk about your boy. That was 6.3 points, 17 carries, and a recall touchdown.
Yeah, it's tough. 69. That obviously didn't go the way I expected it. The Philadelphia Eagles defense, shockingly a stout D-line.
Is that shocking? I feel like they've been pretty good.
I didn't know that about them. It's pretty cool. Today I learned, Sunday I learned.
So got the dub.
Anyways, yeah.
But yeah, it's not like the Jaguars.
Had a ridiculous, this recall. Little scamper for the touchdown. They reviewed it, and there was a tiny little thigh gap that the replay caught a knee touching the floor, and it, like you would assume that it was his, but I mean, it's in the middle of a pile, and they just like see the littlest gap between a lineman's like legs planted, and that's where they saw the knee down. And they're like, that's enough to reverse this call, and I was just like,
Well,
sad.
as is tradition, insert myself into this conversation. Julio Jones also had a touchdown that was called back. That after review looked like a lot of fuckery.
I agree with you. It did look
Yeah.
like fuckery. There was a couple of those.
But these current waivers, the biggest expenditures, right? We talked about Cordarrelle Patterson. Brad purchased for $21. Which they won the bid for $21.
Respect, Brad. I like
Which
it.
he beat out yourself by 4. Another big one, Stu. Okay, so this one actually I would like to talk some shit on. $16 for the Carolina defense.
That's awesome.
They got a great matchup against a second-string quarterback this week,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
On
But
Thursday
then
night
they're
football.
playing Dak Prescott after that, and then they're playing Jalen Hurts after that. So, I mean, I think this is like a 1 week excellent play, but then after that, not so much.
Stu's-
So 16 seems kind of steep.
Stu's buying himself. He's hoping to buy a win, right? Which we know wins are
I'm sure he'll say he really needs this one.
Very, very necessary in this league.
If you want to go to the playoffs, you must win games.
You must win games.
That's
so,
been what's wrong with my strategy so
like,
far.
all right, so here's a question for you. If you could, what is your budget for securing a victory? Right? Is $16 worth a W?
100%.
100%.
But you can't.
If you look at it
You
that
can't
way,
guarantee a victory just
you're
by
not
picking up the
guaranteeing it, but
defense.
to
right?
give yourself a very good shot, right? Like Carolina defense, Thursday night football against a backup quarterback on arguably, they've shocked the world with their performance so far, right? So this theoretically could be worth 23 points.
Sure. No, for sure. But if we look at his team's output from last week, what happened here?
Why are you looking at last week? We're just talking about Carolina Panthers
Because I'm
versus...
trying to compare how many points he scored. So last week he scored. God damn it.
Podcast
This
math,
is podcast math. Hold, please.
130
130 is what he scored.
is.
He barely beat Pebbles.
Yeah, that was such a fun matchup. You hate to love to see it.
With having 6 points out of his defense. Damn. 130 is a difficult amount of points to get to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My argument is one piece is not going to secure you a victory.
But having that matchup advantage.
This is going to be a atonement topic. Okay, let's see. I very well think that they can score 20 points. I have no doubt about that.
What's the defensive? Look at his matchup right now, and let's see what the defense matchup is. And what's the over/under that we're going to bet on? Is it 10 points? I'm willing to take a 10-point difference. I think
10 point in the defensive. Okay, so right now he's playing Max, which we'll get to later.
Tennessee versus Indy, another solid pickup versus another backup quarterback. This is fun.
Allegedly.
That's great.
Backup. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Carson Wentz with 0 ankles or Eason with both ankles and no skill.
There's just so many factors to this.
Definitely.
In every matchup.
I'm just saying,
So if you were in Stu's shoes, you would be perfectly fine with spending $16 for a 1 week defense.
Well,
Is the question.
yes, with the potential of them being an elite defense, right?
For 1 week.
They blew up.
Or you think he's purchasing them for rest of
I
season?
think it goes beyond just this 1 week. I think it's a great purchase for this 1 week. I think the money is justified, and it has value beyond just this week. That's where I stand on it. And maybe that's why I'm so willing to bet on it. But I'm just a degenerate better.
What?
Anyways,
Okay, what's the line? What do you want? What do you want to do? What's the bet?
let's see. Yahoo has a 2-point difference. I'll give you a 7-point difference.
What do you mean you can give me 7 point
I
difference?
bet the over. There's an over.
So they're gonna have over 7 point difference between these two defenses.
Yep. One of them was
Yeah.
gotten for free. One of
Alright.
them was gotten for 16.
7 point difference between the Tennessee defense against Indy and the Carolina defense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just had a brain blast of when O'Malley spent money for the Oakland defense when they were playing some backup quarterback a few years ago, and then they got absolutely shit on.
Was it Justin
Remember
Herbert?
that? I don't think it was. No, I don't think it was Herbert. It was. Oh God, we'll have to look it up. But I remember there was a big to do where O'Malley picked up the defense right before the game, and then
Oh, fun.
they got effed.
Love that.
Okay.
O'Malley, you have to.
Yeah, let us
inform
know. I'm sure
what
you
that
remember.
was.
Okay, we talked about Cordell Patterson. Ooh, here's a person that I want to talk about. KJ Osborne, won by wannabe Starton Sutton. And I just want to get your thoughts on it. So he doubled the next bid, but this guy's been he leads the team in yards. He scored double digits both weeks, 18 this last week, 5 of 6 targets. Someone who I was monitoring, but because my perceived strength of receiver, I didn't actually go in on.
Isn't
do you
that
think?
annoying? Your own perception of your team just removes you from competitive bids on good players.
Yeah, there was 2. Allen Bruggs. Same thing with Bruggs. I did a very limp wrist offer on Bruggs after he's been blowing up.
I'll take him if nobody else wants
But it's
him.
like then, like you look at your receiver and it's like, who are you gonna start him over? Like, if
Yeah.
I was going to pick up either one of those guys, I'm not gonna play him over Hopkins, Lamb, Julio Jones, Marquise Brown, who's scored like a touchdown or 100 yards in 9 straight games or something ridiculous.
Right. That's the beauty of
Where's
the
the
waiver
fit?
wire. It's so fun. And
Yeah.
that's why I think that we should have one less
No,
bench spot.
no, get off your soapbox.
Yeah, we got one less bench spot because the waiver wire will be that much more juicy. KJ Osborne is what I wanted Irv Smith Jr. to be.
Yeah.
It's my nightmare. I think it's awesome. It's so crazy how many receivers are just like piling up targets over the expected receivers, right? There was a segment, some fucking fantasy podcast that basically talks shit on drafting the second receiver. Like the first receiver taken in ADP value is always the best receiver. Like us fantasy experts are good at what we do. And like this season is just flipping that stat on its head. Like Tyler Lockett versus DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Those are 2 examples. Thielen over Jefferson is another one, right? And now you have this third party entering that wide receiver duo. It's now a trio, the 3 Musketeers. It's awesome. It's cool. I love to see more action from more players. I love it. But it's also brutal to me because I don't own these players.
You could have put a bid in on
I
this
could have
guy.
put a bid in, but I hamstrung myself with. I took my shot on
Busted ass Mitchell.
Elijah Missile, and that was the gamble that I was willing to take. So I'm stoked for all of you guys that are doing these normal bets and taking these shots on other cool receivers. Right, Quintez Cephas, 13 targets through 2 games. Like he's the leading
That's opportunity.
Lion receiver. I was very bummed to not get him with my $0 bet. But yeah, it's fun. I think the waiver wire is like you don't lose. You can lose your league on draft day, but you don't win your league on draft day. This is where leagues are won by these pickups, and KJ Osborne has the potential, if he continues on this path, to be one of those players for Adam. If not, trade bait.
Yeah. A career we will watch with great interest.
Yes. God, if we switch to a dynasty league, that would just...
We're like years out from that.
I know, but like...
We can't even switch the direction of the snake in the 3rd round of our draft. I mean, I voted no on that, so it's fine. Moving on.
Good,
This is a quick hit. The league picks leaderboard. So we're through 2 weeks. We got a fancy 5th on the line of whiskey. So going through, Adam is in the lead with 8 points. He went 2-4 this past week. Both O'Malley and I have 7 points. He went 3-3. I went 4-2. Stu and Weaver have 6 points. Both went 3-3 this past week. Pebbles has 5 points, and it was actually his idea, so he's got some work to catch up here. It's early though. He went 2-4, and then Bacon bringing up the rear with 4 points. He completely forgot to submit picks for week 2.
Shame.
I don't know if that was an interesting strategy of his or not, but he's kind of put himself in a hole without submitting those picks.
Yeah, shame. You could be in the running, Bacon. You started off strong, and you sucked. All right. Hate to love to see it. This one is very near and dear to my heart.
Before we move on, do you want to take another shot?
Oh, shit, yeah. No, I don't, but yeah, I need to. Tomorrow's going to be rough.
What time we got here?
I gotta meet with not my boss to figure out if it's worth me going to Spain for a couple weeks in October.
With all those news running the experiments.
Super dope, yeah. Citrus season is starting up, folks. Pretty cool.
All right, which is this for?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go this one. Well, I'll go this one to you
Hell yeah.
because you're here now in person.
I'm also taking one in solidarity with him
I love
for
you.
some reason.
I love you, man.
Once it hits your lips.
Once it hits.
Once it hits your fucking gut.
All right. You hate to love to see it. When two of you guys, your best friends, they take shots, and they both hate it. But you hate that they hate it, but you love to see your friends taking shots. All right.
Weaver just was like weirdly rubbing his nipple while saying that. I don't know
It was
if
my
that was.
sternum
Yeah.
from the fire that I felt in my gullet. You dick. All right. So, you hate to love to see Monday Night Football. You are winning by a small margin of points, right? Only to have your dreams dashed somewhat early in the game. So for me, this is very relevant because I was beating Adam by 4, heading into Monday night. He had Robert Tonyan on the Packers.
Yes.
Week 1, he had put up 1.8 points. So you're saying there's a chance he doesn't score 4 points, right? In the second quarter, he catches a 22-yard touchdown pass. Boom, matchup done. No stat correction can correct for that.
The only touchdown that didn't go to Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Which also, like he caught 2 passes. One of them was this touchdown, and the other one was just for like 8 yards. So that's annoying. But it was awesome because it happened early enough to where I could just enjoy the game for the game and I wasn't on edge for the whole time.
Yeah.
So I hated it, but then, I was able to revel in it.
I love it just like Adam does, turning that narrative on its head where you have been publicly loud about trouncing him in all your matchups.
I know, yeah. It's true. I need to beat him week 1. But apparently not even based on history. So history's on your side, Adam. You bitch. This next one I put in here, hate to love to see it. Blood Diamond Bills back on top. The most elite fantasy defense in the league. He has a whopping 164 points against. That is by far and away the lowest points against.
Dude, not only that, he has the second most points for. In fact, he has over 100 more points scored than Ménage à Trois.
Ménage à Trois. That's a brutal combo. Second most points for, least points against by far. Ugh.
Woof.
Woof is right. What have you done? You keep showing us proof of your girlfriend. So who did you sacrifice?
I actually purchased flights to go visit him and Becca over Halloween weekend.
Very cool.
Yeah, Chelsea and I'll be going up to Bend, Oregon, playing some disc, watching some football.
Are you going to get sacrificed?
I mean, if I don't win a game in fantasy by that point, I would...
Would you sacrifice
think
Chelsea?
about...
Clearly, he sacrificed his part.
No, she's the cash cow. I can't sacrifice her.
Ah, smart.
Team Jiggy Jiggy.
What was that?
Team Jiggy Jiggy.
There it is.
As like clockwork, everyone talks shit on his draft, and here he is, blowing it up. He only won, folks, but he did win the money this past week, and we've already beaten to death the double tight end strategy that's working very well for him. So far, so good for Bradley. Let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
If he makes that Jalen Hurts blockbuster, oh my god.
My God. This one I added. Hate to love to see it. Guys, what the fuck are these 3:39 a.m. transactions? This is bullshit. I mean, there's one side of it where I love that our league is this competitive. And you talked about this. You set your alarm to wake up to do this free agent bullshit. But at the same time, what the fuck?
Right.
This is a dad league now.
So you actually can have both. So no longer am I setting an alarm to get up, but my body will naturally wake me up because we are aging and you can't sleep through the night because you got to take a piss. And so my new strategy is my body will naturally get me up at some point after 1:08 p.m. a.m. when the waivers go through, and I'll just take my phone with me to the bathroom and half asleep, pick up some players.
Are you peeing sitting down so you can check it, or are you just spraying all willy-nilly, no hands?
So
In the dark.
I don't know if you tried this, but one hand on the phone, one hand on your hog.
I don't know if you tried this.
I would highly recommend it if not, because you avoid the mess and you can make some free agent pickups.
You're getting blinded by this blue light.
It's not easy, but it's better than waiting until like 7 a.m. when all the good players are taken in the middle of the night.
Do you use your phone to shine a light on the toilet to start your process, and then you have the sound?
Do you have like a? I guess you have. Okay, so not everyone has an in-bedroom bathroom.
I got tiny little toilets over here.
So, for instance, in Chelsea's current place and in the place I'm moving into, there's a door that separates the bedroom and the bathroom to where you can actually use the light.
You turn the light on too.
Yeah. I'm like half asleep. I don't want to make a mess.
Dude, does that not wake you up? You're able to fall right back asleep? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You pay the price. Okay. That's fun.
I'm already up. I feel like once I leave the bed, I'm up.
No wonder you're so productive for Fantasy Podcast on Wednesday and not at work.
I just, prioritize it as my actual work, which,
Yeah.
might not be a good life choice, but it's a choice that's being made.
Anyways, I love that it's happening. I also hate that it's happening. So it's a perfect comment for this.
We'll talk next week. We'll see if you perfected or at least attempted the one hand on the phone, one hand on the hog technique.
I don't even check my phone before bed. I'm trying to turn my brain off. I'm trying to sleep well. I just gave Collin the most shit-eating grin. It wasn't good. The shots are kicking in.
All right, next section. We've dilly-dallied enough.
Dude, so much.
Quick review of Week 2 matchups. I went 4-2. I incorrectly guessed... I actually get that one correct. Why is it that? I incorrectly guessed that Evan would beat Brad, and I incorrectly guessed that Max would beat O'Malley. So O'Malley won and Brad won. I correctly guessed that Scott would beat myself, so kind of like smiley face with the tear going down the cheek emoji. For 4-2 for your boy Gall in last week's picks. Both O'Malley and Brad had 6 of 6 people pick against them in the pick contest, and they won. So congrats.
Yeah, if you all could just bet against me this week, that would be great. Which actually, I think everybody will, because I'm going up against Blood Diamond Go.
To the picks.
To the picks! Yeah. Whew.
All right.
First matchup of the week, we got Lamb of Rod versus America. Fuck yeah.
It's America. Come on, because Amari Cooper.
Well, I'm an American, and I'll pronounce it however I want.
That's fine. Also, Amari Cooper might not play, which would be great for Lamb of Rod.
Yeah. So, things that I have written down for this matchup. I think it's incredibly fun. The Hopkins versus Kirk matchup. Rondell Moore is kind of an annoyance to this receiver core.
Yeah.
However, that's fun to watch. If one scores, the other won't be. So that's just fun. Julio, for you, coming back to his old form, had that bullshit TD recalled.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Mixon versus a banged up Pittsburgh defense, which I know because Pittsburgh is my defense. Just extending my injury curse to my defense. And then, Amari is hurt and may or may not go, which is super sketchy for Evan because what if he's a last second inactive? Woof. On Monday Night Football. So I am choosing the Lamb of Rod.
Hey.
First time
Wow.
this season. Yeah, you better not prove me wrong. And this is crazy because, I've done this a lot in my podcasting career of really liking Evan's team. And it has not served him well. But this week, I think you take the cake.
I agree with you. There's actually a little more deeper than just the two Arizona receivers. So if Cooper would play, it would be Cooper versus Lamb for the Cowboys. Evan actually does have a contingency plan in Cedric Wilson, who he picked up, who would slot in for Amari Cooper. Now, if he'll get the same workload, he's not the same player, we'll see, but Evan is at least thinking ahead. Additionally, we have a Nick Chubb versus Kareem Hunt matchup in this one. So a lot of ins and outs in this matchup. Evan is basically the Dallas Cowboys, actually, if you see his team in its entirety. But I'm picking myself as well.
Greg. Actually, yeah, kudos to Evan for hedging his Amari injury. That's a good fantasy manager move.
Yep, that is good. I think Cooper doesn't play. That hurts his team. I think Brandon Cooks is going to struggle with a second-string quarterback on Thursday night against the Carolina defense we talked about. Definitely wary about Travis Kelce, but all in all, I think my team is set up better for the victory, and it's about damn time. So I'm taking myself.
About damn time. Are you 0-2?
I am 0-2.
Tough.
As is Mix. So we're agreeing on that one. Next matchup, let's do Fields of Wet Dreams and Team Jiggy Jiggy. Who you got?
This is the classic case of fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, shame on me. I will not bet against Team Jiggy Jiggy 3 times in a row. I'm choosing Team Jiggy Jiggy. There's, really not much rhyme or reason to it. I wrote some notes down here. Quads. He's getting better each week. He's getting more and more workload. He has been bad thus far. So hopefully he is mediocre and that helps. Atlanta should be a great opportunity for him.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about the double tight end strategy. It's working. So if he sticks with it, it might work again. I'm betting that it works again. And then, actually, talking about wide receivers that were drafted, Keenan Allen versus Mike Williams. Mike Williams has surpassed Keenan Allen as the top dog in the Los Angeles Clipper land.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, kudos. Yeah, the Stafford Cup and Williams are both exceptions to this rule, and they're both panning out for Team Jiggy Jiggy. That's what I'm going with.
Well, I was taking Jiggy Jiggy. Another interesting little nugget in this matchup is Kenyon Drake versus Josh Jacobs, both currently on the bench for these squads. Jacobs is not going to play, most likely for the Las Vegas Raiders, where you think Kenyon Drake would get the bulk of the workload. Last week, only doing 8 points, though, with that same situation, so I can see that's why he's on this bench currently. But interesting to note if that limited usage continues with Jacobs on the shelf for Drake. But, yeah, I also think Jiggy Jiggy, after last week's output, is going to take this one.
One quick comment about last week's Jiggy Jiggy performance. Obviously, it was a blowout, but he got very lucky by the early Josh Jacobs out call, right? He was able to just put Singletary in, which, that is crazy in its own right. And then it paid off. It's crazy. Some people have been fucked by... There's been a lot of early out calls this season so far, which has been pretty cool, and versus the last minute inactives.
Another note about Brad's team, Marvin Jones Jr., who we talked about in the very first podcast, has been lighting it up for the Jags, but can't find playing time in this lineup because of those 2 tight ends who are crushing it and then his receivers. Yeah. All of a sudden, Team Jiggy Jiggy has just spoiled with riches.
Yes, I agree.
Next matchup.
Oh, man. Go. Do it.
Yeah. So we got Menage a Trois versus I Would Rush 500 miles. A lot of these matchups this week are like split 50-50 down the middle, both in their projected totals, but also a lot of them were a coin flip for myself. And I eventually leaned towards Menage a Trois because of Odell Beckham Jr.'s presence coming back to the lineup and Jarvis Landry not playing. I think overall this is a pretty even matchup, although some players have been underwhelming. You could talk to Edwards-Helaire for Bako or James Robinson for O'Malley, but Holmes always crushes the Chargers. He'll continue to do that. That's actually a fun matchup in this one. We have Herbert and Mahomes battling it out in the same game, so that's pretty fun. I think, oh my God, it's so funny because I also said these two could be trade partners too earlier, which we had a lot of last year, the in-week trades of the opponent. In any case, I'm taking O'Malley to edge Bacon out because of the OBJ return to the lineup.
Yeah, this is interesting, actually. Both teams have made roster adjustments
Since the pick.
since we made our picks.
Galladay is out for O'Malley. There you go, Buckaroo. Finally, you're seeing, you're reading the tea leaves there.
Brodell is in, Galladay is out. Fournette got traded out for Gaskin, which is very fun for Bako. This was by far the hardest matchup for me to predict. Bacon has boomed in week 1 and then busted really hard week 2, which is brutal. But in that bust, Kamara and Clyde Edwards-Helaire put up less than 10 points. Out of your first and second round picks, that is
Woof.
insurmountable. Like, nobody's going to win with that unless you have just, like, the most ridiculous double tight end strategy or something, like, just out of control. I'm taking Bacon in this matchup because he has boomed, and I think his team will boom. I think that both of those players are going to come out of the woodwork and have some ferocity, hopefully. And yeah, at the time, Fournette was still in before Gaskin, so that factored into this as well. Fournette's been very stable without touchdowns somehow. Can you believe the Buccaneers don't have a single rushing touchdown this
Didn't know that was
season?
a thing.
Yeah, they're all receiving touchdowns. Not even Tom Brady has QB snuck a TD, which is
I feel like he's not a sneaker.
He's a QB sneaker, from on the goal line.
Okay.
That's his thing. But yeah, the Buccaneers only receiving touchdowns this far.
I would love for that to change this week as I'm going up against Mike Evans.
Well,
Let's give them all to Fournette on the bench, huh?
Mike Evans now is going to be funneled targets because
As the COVID, yes.
COVID.
Bummer. All right, who you got in the Hooked on Stephonics versus Jamar Laxon?
Ooh, Jamar Laxon versus Hooked on Stephonics. I'm going with Hooked on Stephonics. He fooled me once, but will he fool me twice? I don't know. This receiving core is remarkable. I think that a fun storyline from this matchup is Henderdog being hurt, and Max has Sonny Michel just resting on the bench, waiting to be played.
Yeah.
Stu is in serious RB trouble, right? Gibson is losing work to McKissick. Henderdog has this injury, and that's it. He has Mark Ingram, Tony Jones Jr., and Jermichael Hasty, who is now injured, right? That's not good look. Not a good look for a fantasy team. I loved all of these players during the draft. So I think that Max takes this, and I will just reaffirm my 30 points each from Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs.
Okay, well, I'm also taking Max in this one. I also had trouble choosing between the two because I think that Lamar Jackson has a phenomenal matchup against the actual Lions on Sunday. What I am looking at, specifically in this matchup is the Chase Edmonds as the running back against the Jaguars versus Rondell Moore as the flex wide receiver versus the Jaguars. A lot of mouths to feed in that Arizona offense. You think that they get up big and then they can cruise in the second half. So it's a kind of a coin flip as to whether Rondell Moore is one of the beneficiaries of one of those early touchdowns or if Edmonds starts getting funneled to work as the Cardinals walk away in what should be a laugher. So I'm taking Max in this one.
Yeah. Yep. It's so nice to bet against Stu. I just love it so much.
Oh, should we do your matchup next?
Ooh, yeah, you can
I'll
go
go.
first.
I'm picking not you again. I'm going with Blood Diamond Bill. He's back to he's officially back to Diamond. God damn it, we as a league gave him 2 wins and he's back to Diamond status. That lasted all of fucking 2 weeks. Ugh. Yeah, you can't bet against Bill. You can't bet against McCaffrey, Waller. Finally, he's got Darnell Mooney in his lineup, so that's good. Good on you, Bill, for getting your namesake back in there. Yeah, as for yourself, dude, your running backs are kind of hurt. You got Mitchell right now, who's questionable in there. Throw in Sanders also. This is a kind of a trend with you, is a pick up and play player weekly. So I think your team is in a little bit more of a sorry state. You talked about the Pittsburgh defense not being 100%. You got Bryan Edwards. Did you play Bryan Edwards yet this season?
Nope.
You got multiple newbies to your lineup, of which last week Edwards scored 5.5 points and Sanders scored 5.8 points. Yeah, I don't know. It's
This isn't a public shaming.
I'm taking Lansing in the Mooney Light.
Yeah, I'm also taking
Hey.
Lansing. It's fucked up, man. I got a banged up team playing against the best fantasy defense in the league. I think I'm just gonna add to this lowest points.
What an underdog story you could be.
I know. I can't wait. I really, there is boom potential on this team, but holy shit, it doesn't feel good. I mean, just like Thursday night alone, he has DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey against Houston. He could head into Sunday with a 40-point advantage, like easily. So that's fun. Yeah, a lot of Qs in my lineup. Last week I had Laviska leave the game with a shoulder injury. I had Elijah Mitchell leave the game with a shoulder injury. So, it's next man up, and you're not drafting your team to have like 3 backups, right? Like, I'm already dealing with Jerry Jeudy out. I don't know.
How did I lose to you?
How did you lose to me? Because team so
Rodgers, that's right. Okay, so we're both taking
Rodgers.
Bill.
It was Rodgers. I got
We
so
don't need to
lucky.
beat that dead horse anymore. Last matchup of the week.
King Henry needs to put up 65 for me this week.
Greedy.
Yeah.
Greedy.
So greedy.
All right, who you got in the Landry Down Under versus wannabe starting Sutton?
I got the Landry down under.
Oh, that's fun.
Despite Landry going on injured reserve.
What odds are that Scott replaces him in his lineup before Sunday?
Dude, Scott's gonna update his lineup.
Yeah,
If he doesn't, then this pick is null and void, and we all get a victory for it. So one of the reasons that I chose Scott is because Cortland Sutherland and Melvin Gordon are both playing the Jets, and my boy Robert Saleh is a defensive mastermind, and the Jets are quietly a top 5 defense in the league. So that's 2 players that I'm hoping are less than their projections.
What about that defense against 4-pick Wilson?
That defense. My God, yeah. No, it's a good D. Yeah, he's hedging his bets there. Robert Saleh, not known for his offensive prowess. But I'm hoping that Kittle gets it going this week. Aaron Jones just put up 40. Adams survived a 45-point week against Henry, so he could do it again. But I think that Scott can pull this off with the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, the Murray and Jacksonville matchup there is tantalizing. It's another one that was difficult for me to choose, but I eventually went with wannabe starting Sutton, mostly because I don't think the options that Scott currently has to fill in Landry's spot are going to be the difference maker in this matchup. Swift disappeared against the Packers, and now he's got to go up against a tough Baltimore defense. I actually think the opposite of you in that I think all those Broncos are going to just go off because the Jets are one of the worst teams in the league. No matter how erstwhile their fledgling coaches.
Fledgling. He's beautiful.
I also kind of think Tannehill's 20-point projection is under what he can do against Indianapolis. I might be biased because of the Julio management, but I think that Tannehill outscores his projection.
Tannehill threw 40 passes last week and scored 14 points.
Yeah, because Hender's dog was taking all the work. I think that the Colts are going to focus solely in on stopping that man, and that the receivers are going to run rampant.
Okay. I love it. That's it. That's all the matchups.
That's the pod.
We've done it. An hour and 35 minutes in.
And the people of every second.
Every fucking second, especially the intro.
Well, good luck, everybody, except for you, Evan. Evan, personal message to you. I'd be very happy to make some sort of a wager on our matchup. We can do the inter-team thing, Chubb v. Hunt, Cooper v. Lamb, or just straight up. But I'm confident I'm going to win.
Yeah, Bill, I don't really want to make a wager with you. This sucks. No, I'm just kidding. You're going down, buckaroo. And with that, shall we say goodnight?
Yes. All right. Later, Bucks.
Later, Bucks. Enjoy the tunes from our own Curtis, the Warden.
Week 2 is done. The Chiefs early lead got their minds all coddled. Rest in peace, Mr. Norm McDonald. Raise a glass and let the laughter live on.